This, I'm not acting. This is the good life right now. Oh, me and the dog. Wednesday, everybody's at work. I'm going in to do my favorite hike together. And then we're going to go to a social event that's going to be pretty active. It's like ice baths and breathing on the beach. Tomorrow, my buddy flies in. I'm picking him up. He's going to stay with me for a couple days. Got to get up at 5:15 a.m. tomorrow. I'm going back to work on the dolphin tours. I work Thursday, Friday, Sunday, the dolphin tours. Monday, Saturday, my and my friend go on an adventure or something. Working, Monday, hiking adventure tour. I am busy, and real social. And in this video, I'm going to talk to you guys about a lot of the time it's better off to be single. And you guys already know this. A lot of you know this. Men have been going their own ways for a while, but I'm just going to belabor and hammer this point. So welcome, fam. Much love, Trav here. Now, I enjoy romance from time to time, and I think there's value to having kids. Not everybody needs to do it, or not everybody needs to have a bunch of kids. But, all right, thanks for the cameo, Dougie. A lot of the time, it's better off to be single. So let me tell you a couple stories. And I mean, I talk about being attractive and proximity to women, and I like women. I like interactions with women, but a lot of the time it's better off single. So my parents were together for 50 years. They got together in the early 20s. My dad died when he was like 73. They got divorced in the last year of his life to try to protect money because he was interned and insane. And my mom was worried she was going to lose everything. So that was probably a fine decision. But they stayed together for 50 years, and it was to our benefit. I don't believe it was to their benefit. I never saw them give each other any affection ever. I'm not talking about kiss. I'm talking about like hand around each other. Never. Growing up, I'm 34. I never saw it. The most I ever saw was them. I'm taking a photo, and when I'm in my 20s, and I'm like, we're at a Chinese restaurant. I remember it. I'm like, get close together. I'm gonna take a picture. So they slept in different bedrooms. And my mom, I remember at times growing up, my mom saying, well, we don't have a typical marriage. This isn't a typical marriage. This isn't the best example of a marriage or relationship. And then I realized later in life that, that is a typical marriage. Maybe sleeping in different bedrooms because you don't have different bedrooms. But intimacy and sex fall off a cliff in marriage most of the time. We're talking about most of the time, right? Now, what my parents did is maybe not typical because they stayed together. But what's more typical in today's age is divorce, right? Times are different. They're together for 50 years. Times were different 40 years ago, 30 years ago. It wasn't quite as easy to just get a divorce, right? But that maybe is a typical marriage of lack of intimacy, together just because, or for the kids, which is fine, right? There's a sacrifice there, which is noble, but not to their advantage. And my mom in her older age is like, at times she says, never get married, don't ever get married. I'm never getting married again. I'm not going to meet I don't want to have another relationship ever again. It's like, how bad was it? It wasn't that bad. I mean, they got along. My dad was cool. There wasn't abuse that I ever saw. They just weren't in love, right? So I'll also tell you, I had a relationship. It's been about a couple years now. And I've had a number of girlfriends. I've had like 6 girlfriends that I've been together with for 1 to 2 years. Since I was 16, 18 years, 9 or 10 years of that I've spent in relationships. So I have with 6 different women, right? And then there's some more casual relationships that dot in between there. Something like that, yeah. So I have a little bit of relationship experience, right? I mean, I started when I was 15, actually. First girlfriend, I was 13, actually. It was 13 or 14, I think 13. And had some good experience, had some bad experience, been cheated on, girlfriend left, went away to college, broke up with me. I got caught talking to another girl. What are some other things that happened? Just some various things. And there's some really positive, some tender moments, some vacations, but man, a lot of fights. And I'll tell you, the worst is having a woman live with me. So this is a couple years back. And I mean, I'll say I made a serious error of who I dated, right? And there was all the red flags from the beginning, but I made it a goal to have a girlfriend for the year. Kind of stupid. I wrote it down on one of my goals for the year is I want to have a serious girlfriend. So the girl liked me, and I said, all right, let's do it. Now, I'm not a doctor, I'm not here to diagnose her, but man, she was diagnosed with some stuff. She had serious issues of wanting to be combative and argue all the time, and very much sapped my energy and my strength. And we had crazy sex, it was cool, and we wanted some adventures together, but just so much arguing, so much drama, and so difficult to get out of it, where at the end she's like, let's just have an arrangement. I'm like, I don't want an arrangement, I want you to leave, right? Because I had her on the lease, and I had to risk my place that you guys see in this awesome place. But hey, it's yours, I'm gonna leave, stay with my buddy, it's yours if you can pay the rent. And fortunately she couldn't, so I got it back, but she tried to prevent me from leaving, and I had to call the police, and I had a police escort, and she was throwing herself on the hood of my car. She was chasing my car, full speed on foot, police chasing her. She's showing up at my friend's place late in the night, banging on the door like insane. And here's the thing, even if it's not that bad, it's like, sometimes I don't want to argue. I don't want to watch a movie at dinner. I want the lights to be off when I'm ready to go to sleep. I don't want you bringing junk food into the house. I don't want to be with someone who's vaping or drinks alcohol or smokes weed or eats any kind of junk food. I don't need to be nagged about my hygiene or cleanliness or whatever I'm doing, or pick this up, pick that up. All the things that come with almost any relationship with a woman. And again, I know there's plenty of positives, and I like women. I really like women. I like dating women, but a lot of the times you're just better off single. Definitely better single than a lot of the bullshit I've dealt with. Like, the relief of becoming single again was overwhelming. I was so happy to be single and to be not in that relationship. And every time I think about having a girlfriend who would live in, I'm like, I don't really want that. I don't really want that. I've fought so hard for years to fix my habits, right? She has to really be on point. But one of the problem is people aren't on point. People are not on point. Women are out of shape. They're sick. Bad habits. It's just hard to find someone who aligns with me, or someone who really aligns with you. And here's the other thing. I've been talking about this a lot recently. Women like one guy and will pursue that guy, and if most of them don't get the guy that they like, and they'll settle for someone that they don't like, and then they'll learn over time they'll resent you, right? And I got a YouTube comment the other day from a woman on my video explaining this idea, and she's like, you're right, I've always, my entire life, I've rejected every single man that ever pursued me. Every single one. No, said no to all of them. The only guy that I ever pursued, I got him and we're together. Can you imagine, right? It's so funny. Guys just don't understand how it works. They're like, I was watching some dating coach video, and it's like, it's so easy for a girl. She can just sit in a coffee shop and men will approach her. And it's like, no, bro, she doesn't want any of those guys. There's one guy that she wants, right? You could be the guy that approaches her and get her, but she's going to resent you because you're the one she settled with. And what that looks like, because I've been there, settled, is I'm going to be like, you should work out more. Or she's going to say this to you, right? Why aren't you like so-and-so? Why aren't you, it's just, she's going to want to change you, right? She's going to want to turn you from a Squirtle to a Blastoise. Because she wanted the Blastoise, she got you the Squirtle, right? So she's going to try to, it feels like trying to change someone of, you're not good enough, but I'm with you. I want to see you improve your habits, etc. Because the guy I actually like is that way, right? So again, this is how most long-term relationships are, because women like the top, say 10-20% of guys, and it's more extreme than it's ever been because of unequal health outcomes, where 80% of guys are almost overweight or obese. So there's this small selection of actually fit, handsome guys, and that 25%, probably only 10% is actually fit, right? So there's no way for every woman to get that 10%, and also the 10% of men don't want these unfit women. So everybody's just settling with each other, and since they're settling, they're resentful, and you're gonna poke and prod, and then as soon as you're married, sex is gonna dry up, disappear, and then as soon as you have a lot of money, she's gonna divorce you and take half, right? So does that sound good? Not to me. Now there could be situations where you are her first pick. You're her first pick, and she's gonna do a lot to keep you, because if you're the first and only guy she ever pursued, she's gonna want to keep you, right? So that means more intimacy, more support, better sex, more staying power, more longevity in that relationship. The thing is though, when you demand to be a woman's first pick, you're going to pass up on a lot of women who would settle with you and be okay with you, and you're going to spend more time single. And for some of you guys, you realize, I got another comment like, hey, I'm never going to be a woman's first pick. There's just too much wrong with me. I'm being a realist here, so I'm building my life out single, and I'm happy with that. And I support that. Better to be single than to settle for some woman who's settling for you, and you're going to resent each other. And especially as a man, you have a long time in life to level up and get better. And for me, it's all about, okay, I'm not going to say looks maxing, because it's just about being healthy. It's about how you smell. But health maxing, so I live a long time, so I'm happy, so I feel good for me. Make my days happy and interesting for me. Tighten my grip on my life and my habits for me. Be proximate to the type of women that I'm attracted to. And maybe one that I like will all be her number one pick. And if that's the case, then we can do something together. And if not, I'm happily single, because again, I've been in these relationships. I've seen what the long-term ones look like. There's a lot of headache and drama that comes with it. Again, there's a lot of positivity. It's nice to have intimacy, but man, a lot of the time, for emotional intimacy, like I've got a couple really good guy friends who aren't going anywhere. They're not going to betray me. I can call them. Why expose myself to some woman who's just going to disappear at some point, right? So, also have my dog. That's something that I can recommend for men if you want real loyalty. And people will say, well, the dog's only loyal because you feed it. And there's a lot of truth to that. The dog is dependent on you. The dog is dependent. If you reject the dog, it's going to go find someone else. But why would it not? However, there's a lot more to it than feeding the dog, training the dog, being the dog's companion, giving the dog experiences, and appreciates that. And you could say, well, it's only because you're feeding the dog. Well, how many women have I fed and housed? And then what have they done in return for me, right? In the end. And even kids, you can house and feed your kids, and they take off in the world, and then you never see them again. They never call. This is the reality for a lot of parents. And they also don't take care of you when you're old. They don't pay you back. So Why are people not having kids? Well, one of the reasons for having kids is an insurance policy when you're old, especially daughters are more likely to take care of you. That's not even happening a lot of the time. Old people are dying paupers, destitute, dropped in nursing homes, budget nursing homes, abused. It's rough. So I'm not a hedonist by any means, but I'm saying just have fun, be healthy, feel good, and enjoy romance from time to time when it happens. And you can play the game a little bit of getting fit and then being proximate and visible, but never forcing nothing, never chasing women, not doing too much approaching, right? I mean, you can approach when women invite you. They smile at you, they look at you, or they like motion to my dog to come to them, right? But a lot of the time better off single from what I've seen, everything I've seen and everything I've experienced. And yeah, I'm right now, I'll also tell you this. The year for me is 2024. 2024 is my favorite year I've ever had so far. There's 3 months left. 2.5 months left. My second favorite year was 2017. And my third favorite was probably 2020. But it's my favorite year. I've been single all year. I've dated. I've had like platonic girlfriends. I hooked up with one girl and honestly kind of wish I had not. So easily could have been 0. Easily could be a year without sex or relationship, long-term relationship, right? I mean, I had a couple things. I've had emotional closeness with women, I'll just put it that way. But totally single, and it's been the best year of my life. And I'm reflecting on that. And I do want to have kids at some point. But it's a lot of freedom to sacrifice, especially staying with a woman and potentially giving up intimacy. So I guess if I had like my dream life, I don't know if that's such a thing that exists, but if like a woman, I'm the first pick of a woman that I would pick first. That's so rare that ever happens though, and it could happen. It could happen. So we'll see what happens. But regardless, I know I'll date more women. I know I'll be in more relationships, but oh man, the more time passes, the more I do enjoy my times of singlehood, where I've crafted out my life and my habits and my routines, and do I need somebody else, right? I like doing this YouTube. Anyways, I got a phone call, I'm going to take it, but appreciate you all, much love, comment down below, peace.